Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to Super Sunday here on Apex Racing TV for the Weekend Warriors. Getting King's get started with the Formula 4s in this doubleheader here from Road America. I'm Tim Cox. Charles Michelle joining us very shortly. Sminakulo, as always, working his magic in the virtual production trailer. First off, let's have a look at the championship standings. Qualifying just ongoing in the background right now. Spec 1, Jason Green leads the way there, but that lead, it's starting to diminish at the business end of the season. Aaron catching him, finding himself, well, within 16 points now of our championship leader. Christian Kabanka, he's still within the shout though, on 487, only 4 points behind Nom. So that top three, that's going to come right down to the wire potentially. Plus, dubbing to be an absolute epic season in Spec 1 in Formula 4s. Michael McConnell sitting well behind now in fourth, well out of the equation, but in a comfortable fourth. Well ahead of Jeff Jacobson by nearly 60 points with Ball, Harris, Overstreet, Hendrickson and Rodriguez rounding out your top 10. Across now into Spec 2, and well, similar story. Trenton Kramer had the opportunity to make hay while the sun shined, and he did so in emphatic ways at Ballard last week. Had to go about it the hard way, that is for sure. Paul Stevens into second, finished second last week as well. Ironically, Chris Montgomery drops now to third, losing that championship lead and finds himself 43 points behind Kramer. Tim Sterno, he's fourth and a little bit out of the equation for that championship victory here, but never say never. Jimmy Litt back up fifth with Payne, Lorio, Guard, Fernandez and Scott running up the top 10. That one. Across to Masters, well, Yogmani's been so dominant this season. He's been on the podium 4 times overall this season, let alone winning his category 5 out of the 6 outings we've had so far this season. And that's why he's sitting well over 100 points ahead of Antonio Race, who's he's pushed him. He's been there or thereabouts, plenty of seconds and a race victory back at Mosport in round 2. He finished second overall, ironically, but only good enough for second. Murakami only 4 points behind him. He's just been there, Mr. Consistency all season long. Gary Walbolt fourth, Degasius in fifth, only those 2 points separating them. Cathcart not far behind as well, with Ray, Brewster, Love and Nelson running out the top 10. Charles Michelle, welcome along. It's Super Sunday, Weekend Warriors double header. and Super Bowl. It doesn't get much more super than that, other than having yourself on board.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Tim. Yeah, it's a big, it's a very big day. I've been up since early this morning with some team activities, and now we get to do a couple of great Weekend Warrior broadcasts. And then I'll sit back and kind of relax and watch a little American football on TV later on this evening. So, but this is, it's a kind of a breath of fresh air. We've been at short tracks and tight tracks, and here we are now at the America's National Park of Speed, Road America. Nice open track, a lot to drafting, and with a doubleheader today with both the Formula Ford and the Spec Racers here. It's gonna be fun to watch these cars draft down these straightaways and make passes and jockey for position, and we'll see how it all ends up at the end of the day.
Yep, we've got a few people improving late on. It seems to be becoming a bit of the form of late here in the Formula 4s. We've got 5 minutes left in qualifying. Top two there, tight as always, under attempt separating normal provisional pulses from Kabanka. It's Murakami, ironically, on for a season's best, and possibly even a best ever qualifying from him from memory as well. He's third overall, second row of the grid. And top of Masters, there's Marnie and Warbolt, second and third in class in terms of that standings in qualifying, but they're down in 6th and 7th respectively. Spec 2. Paul Stevens, he's 11th and the fastest in Spec 2. Payne, Kramer, 13th and 14th, second and third respectively for those two. And again, no Chris Montgomery. So this is another good chance here for Trenton Kramer to really try and cement himself on route to take that championship victory in Spec 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I was sitting there thinking about it as you were going through the championship points. Obviously, Jorg has just had a dominant season of Masters, but it's only 4 points separating second and third. And I don't remember the Spec 1 class being this tight, this late in the season. It's good. It keeps the interest up, and you got to go out and you got to perform week in and week out and maximize your points to see if you can be on top or move to the top. And so it's it just keeps that interest peaked here, and we'll see how all these drivers do. And yeah, Chris Montgomery not being here is a big deal for him. Obviously, Kramer had to do a lot of work last week just to get some good points out of that race. From the early issues that he had, but was able to recover very nicely and get back up toward the front of the field. So another opportunity to do the same thing. Hopefully, with this track, being a little bit wider, and maybe he can take it easy and just pick his spots and get some really, really valuable points out of the race today.
Yes, looking to make it back-to-back victories for Kramer, although starting a little bit behind Stevens, although he's committed. He's not the best at qualifying, so still within a shout. Kabanka now goes into that provisional pole position by a measly 100th of a second, setting up near as damn it a 2:22, smack on the nose there, just 0.004 of a second faster than that time. So yeah, real making improvements for him as well. Dom, wow, look at that for a lap. Instant reply, it goes 2/10 faster again.
Yep, absolutely. And so, he looks like if he can get this lap, but I think this is his last lap. So if he stays in it, he can improve that lap time. But so we're coming up to the end of qualifying here. So we're inside that 2-minute mark. So, as these cars come around, you've got really this lap or maybe one more, depending on where you are on the track, to improve your starting position. And so he's got to just stay in it, and hopefully no mistakes made. As we see him, that was a little close there on the inside, as we see the 9 car pull off to the edge. Kabeka, I think so. He's done, so he will not improve from this point forward.
This is one driver, the smoothest cut to, ironically, I've been keeping an eye on, Charles McConnell. He's got, personal best in sectors 1 and 2. In fact, he did go purple initially in sector 1. No improvements in 3 and 4. The 6 sectors around here at Road America, the final one pretty much being the run to line, another personal best in sector 5. This could be a really good lap here. Currently 5th, 3rd row of the grid. Is he going to move up at all? Is he going to, well, he's got no one to draft off. Just considering that's your money behind him, isn't it? So that might be someone who does elevate up thanks to that draft. Cuts the timing, yeah, good enough for 3rd. Look at that.
Great lap. Yeah, just 400ths off behind Kabanka in third, and sitting in 3rd place. So row 2 of the starting grid. So that's good for him. And yeah, so now it's Monty with that big draft down the front straight. We'll see if he can improve his lap here as we're coming up on end time, as we see the 51 car Harris off in the grass. That's one of those tricky spots here on this track. There's a few. That is one of them.
So as you're out to Nom electing just to bail into the pits, looking like he's going to be good for pole position here. But I like these plans. We've got our top 4, front 2 rows locked out by Spec 1. And then we've got the top 6 in Masters following them. That's going to be some elbows out potentially. It's checker flag out in qualifying now. So he's just started their lap. We'll be able to complete it. Yeah, I mean, that is brewing up really, really nicely, especially with no one really below them. Looking like they're improving too much. Jeff Jacobson, cross line. Not the best at qualifying from him. He's going to start down in 18th place. You'd be a little bit disappointed by that one.
Yeah, I think so. It seems like he had he was trailing a car. Looked like he had good pace and had a couple of personal best sectors, but apparently made a mistake somewhere on the track. Was not able to improve his time.
Talking of personal bests, here we go. Good morning. First 3 sectors, all green, Charles. Is he going to disrupt the patterns and catapult himself up through the standings? I mean, he's got to make up, a good nearly 3 attempts to displace Jason Green from 4th place. But if there's anyone who can do it, this man can.
I mean, his first 4 sectors are all green, so he's on his personal best lap so far. So it's definitely an improvement. Obviously, we don't know how much, and we won't. And that's the first sector that he didn't improve. And as he's coming down through the final corner with the run up to the line,
that's where he's really desperate to sit behind someone and get a toe for them, isn't it? Marnie's not going to have that luxury, but as he cuts the time being, what's it going to be on no improvement in the final sector, but it's good enough for pole. Look at that.
Wow. Yeah, I think seeing the McConnell right behind him, I think that they were kind of working together. So you saw McConnell with his P3, and then he was helpful to Jorg to give him the draft, at least for the first couple of sectors. And probably down into turn 5, and that catapulted Monty up to the top.
Can't quite get over what we just witnessed there. What an epic lap at the absolute depth there from Marnie. I mean, he made up, I think he was about 7 tenths behind pole coming onto that lap.
Yeah.
He's made up that amount of time, Charles.
Yeah.
By anyone's measure, that's a lot of time to find.
It really is. Yeah, you wouldn't think that, and we'll see this even more so in the next race, but the fours do a pretty good job of towing, but I wouldn't think a half second, because as we picked him up, he was already through the first 4 sectors. So at some point in time, McConnell gave him the run, and then he was able to get by. So because by the time we picked him up in Sector 5, he was already ahead of McConnell. So, yeah, he picked up a lot of time on this front straight, the run between 1 and 3, and then the run down to 5. So that's where he picked most of that time up, and that's pretty impressive.
It is indeed. I'm still left dumbfounded by that one quite. Just saw previously, track temperatures relatively cool here today, about 23 Celsius, 76 Fahrenheit. That's going to help things, isn't it? A little bit, longevity of those tyres, especially through, so many long corners here. I mean, Carousel, obviously the most iconic one, but that second half of the circuit the tyres are really, really going to work, aren't they? And it really puts a lot of heat into them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that second half of the circuit is the technical section of the track. Obviously the first half is just basically straightaways with 90-degree corners in between. So, as we start talking about this race, there'll be a couple of little points that we'll have to bring up as far as trouble areas. Not the least of which is the kink, and then. So yeah, it's going to be a fun race to watch. I'm just really looking forward to it. It's going to be a draft fest on the first half of this circuit.
Well, we've got plenty of time to get through this. The full pace lap here at Road America. Here is your grid. Your money, as we said, saying about an epic lap right at the depth. The clinch pole here in the championship. Road Norm displaced down to second place, and it's Kabanka and McConnell on row 2 of the grid, with Jason Green and Murakami, who looked like he's going to be top qualifier in Masters in the end, only good enough for second in class and 6th on the grid. Walbot and DeGassius make up row 4, while Race and Brewster ran out your top 10 in your second All Masters row. 11th sees our top qualifier in Spec 2. Paul Stevens joined by Stevie Ray. He's going to be happy with that qualifying to come into 12th. Payne and Harris make up row 7, while row 8 of the grid is Pedro Carvalho and championship leader in Spec 2, Trenton Kramer. Love and Cathcart, good morning, Brad Cathcart, as always, up at the crack of Sparrows to come race here in the Weekend Warriors. They make up row 9, while row 10, really disappointed Jeff Jakeson next to Jimmy Littbacker to round up the top 20. Jeff Cantor and Dana Bowes make up row 11, with Tim Staino not setting a time. Has joined the grid all by himself on row 12 for this 23 car field as we're off behind the safety car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be, as we're, watching this this pace lap, we'll talk about some of the trouble spots. The first of which is going to be turn 6. So you'll know that it'll be kind of an uphill under the bridge. Which is just because of the way.
I disagree with you there.
You think so?
I think it's turn 5 always seems to be the one for the memes, doesn't it? Where you've got that your first real true the hardest braking zone realistically, or maybe arguably with Canada Corner. Possibly this is slightly harder. You come, especially going to come to cold tyres as well. I think that could be. Let's put it this way: if 5 doesn't get them, then 6 will.
Pretty much. Yeah, you're absolutely right. No, 5 is, and I would agree. I think it is the hardest braking zone on the track because you've got that long run, that long straightaway down into it. And yeah, there's a lot of memes because you do get such a good run, especially with these cars that draft so well. You get such a good run down there that you get the overspeed, and then it's getting the braking zone, getting the entry point correct, and people trying to dive the inside and work their way around the outside, and then you've got, as you see, gravel on the outside there, and then we got turn 6 here, which is is a little difficult because it's a braking zone at the crest of a hill, so it always seems like it just kind of trips people up. As far as getting their braking right, you get lots of lockups there in cars that just go deep. As I'm listening to Stevie Ray basically talking about the same thing that we're talking about with the trouble zones here on the track. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. And then of course, we're coming through here. This is turn 8, and then into the famous carousel section. Which leads you to the kink, which seems like that's where always there's, always kind of trouble because people think they can pass in the kink, and the first rule of Road America is you don't pass in the kink. That's just the first rule. So we'll see if people can navigate that well today.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones, isn't it? For me, the kink, because it is possible. It just kills off all your momentum trying to pass through there. It's better to wait for Canada Corner to get it done. You've got a higher chance of success, much reduced chance of death as well. As you know, all it takes is one person. I mean, it's not as bad as what it used to be. One touch the grass, and that was it. You got a roadblock on your hands.
Yeah, that's definitely better now with the change to the off-track physics that iRacing has implemented. But it's just one of those that just it looks like it's so inviting, but it's a one groove corner. You just have to because you're trying to carry as much speed as you can through there, and as soon as somebody comes into your inside with a run or on the outside, it just for whatever reason it ends up being just trouble. And so it seems like every race I've ever watched at Road America, there's been an incident in the kink from where people were just trying to make moves in there. It just never works out.
Porsche 911 safety car, lights are out, it's pulling in, there it goes. And let's get ready to go racing here in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors, presented by Rennsport. As we crest the hill, we get ready, because we are green and we are go. And who's going to come out on top? Come the end of lap 1. So much slipstream this early part of the race. Everyone making their way through side by side still. On the race down to 1. Nom on the outside. Marnie just opening up the corner, moving into the middle of the track. And this is where the fun begins. Through 2. The slight kink. The run into 3. Liner Stern pretty much up at the front. Marnie leaves from Nonka, Banker, Green, McConnell, who's dropped a place there. Antonio Race up 2 to 3rd in class. Both up to 7th overall. 2 positions gained overall and in class. Your biggest mover so far. No big moves. Brewster hang out to dry on the outside there. He's going to dip back in to the slipstream surely, but no, he's going to have a go at Stevens, who's still leading Spec 2. Meanwhile up front, here comes Nom. And Green follows him through. As well, what did you spot? I saw a bit of a lock-up as well.
What I saw was I believe was it Antonio Race that came just with a really late on the brakes down to the inside, almost clipped somebody's rear wheel on their way through, but luckily everybody was aware and everybody got through there safely. We have a couple of people that have fallen back just a little bit. Cathcart's dropped a few spots, but it's early days yet. It looks like all the cars are still on track and still in the line, so always plenty of opportunity to make up positions here because you can get a good run.
Talking of trying to get runs, that's not going to help Kramer nor Payne as they head through the carousel for the first time this evening. Kramer tucks up right underneath the gearbox of Payne, who's like second in Spec 2, is Payne 13th overall. There's been a big one ahead, Murakami involved, race involved. No. Oh no, so they're going to come back across the track. We could collect more here.
Oh, great job by everybody to avoid that. Yeah, to just keep that down to just 2 cars. Interesting replay coming up, I bet.
Well, and Kramer makes up 8 spots from it, Charles.
Yeah, that's a great job. He's always done a really good job of avoiding those big incidents like that.
So Murakami, I'm guessing, might have lost it by himself first of all.
Did. Yeah, he did. Sure, and I think both of them did the exact same thing. Was the rear wheel caught the grass, and was enough, traction difference between the rear and the front that it just brought the car around.
And that's Paul Stevens. It's cost him dearly from the lead of Spec 2. He's down to last in class, 6th in class, and 21st overall as we see it from another angle there.
Yeah,
wow, there goes Kramer. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
This slaps the wall. So, yeah, he's already came in and pitted, or on his way into pits. Probably have to take his fast repair to get back out on track. And he's got Murakami coming in behind him, so it's going to be interesting because they're going to be ourselves. So it's going to be, you can run hot laps here, but if you're by yourself, you're just really in a world of hurt because there's, the draft is so prominent here that it's going to be very difficult to make up any ground.
Has spaced out the field a little bit. Our top 4 have sort of got away where we've lost Murakami and Race out of that gap that was populated that group, and also Stevens too. That's such a shame, really, but they're going to scamper away those top 4, you would imagine now, as you see Brewster going to line up a bit of a move here on his old foe and sparring partner is Stevie Ray.
Yeah. So and during all that, as we were reviewing that instant, Monty has dropped down to fourth.
He has, yes. Well spotted. Yeah, Green up into third. We saw him and Nonce get their way through on that early stage of the lap, didn't we? And so that obviously helped them come through. Yes, Kabanka has passed him too. On board with Brewster now. And I think definitely a few people will be taking a little bit easier through the kink in kettle bombs, won't they? Fresh in their mind on what they've just witnessed happen to Marnie and Race.
And it's like I said, it's every time we've come to this track, whether it's just for the Ray Esports or for, when I'm just, watching my team or just racing myself, for whatever reason, the kink, it doesn't look difficult, but it is difficult. It's one of those that you're just trying to carry so much speed through the corner that doesn't matter if you're in a 150 horsepower Formula Ford or if you're in a 600 horsepower GT3 car. That it's just that one lane that you have to just nail it perfectly. If not, you see the results.
That's Kramer ahead of Payne and Brewster now ahead of Ray in synchronized moves into turn one. But this is the trouble, isn't it? Because you pass into turn one, but in some ways that just leaves you vulnerable all the way down. Would you class the back straight from the main sweep? I don't know. Or would you class the one from down to Canada corner as the back straight? It's a bit of a. It gives with the plenty as there's Green ahead of Nom. Either way, you leave yourself maybe a little bit vulnerable, aren't you?
Yeah, you really are, and it's just the nature of the beast here. If you make the run down the front straight and you get a good pass made, you might pass a car or two because of the run. Then now that they're just going to come back on you coming down from 3 into 5. So it's almost been more beneficial to just kind of wait behind, and when you get down into 5, make your move. And then you get to carry that at least all the way back around until we get to the run to Canada corner.
Team Volvo just allowing Payne and Kramer through there. Trying to use them to hook up to the back of them so then he can try and squeeze up the gap to Alan Degassius, who is ahead of them on the road. And that's crucial for Wallbolt because Degassius sitting second in Masters right now. Wallbolt third. Trying to play the numbers game here. Meanwhile, up front, Nom now ahead of Green. As they're all trading places once more in this front 4. 2.5 seconds clear of McConnell. You can see in the background there. Who's again got nearly 4 seconds clear of Degassius, who's in 6th. So McConnell, it'd be interesting to see whether he can maintain that sort of gap or whether he's got the raw pace or just get enveloped into that group behind.
It depends on what the guys in front do, right? So if they're going to fight every corner, if they're going to go too wide, as you see here with Monty making the move on Kabanka, if they don't get this cleared and they end up going too wide through a couple of these corners, McConnell can make up the time. But if they get back in line, as they're doing now, it's going to be very difficult, as we talked about, because they're running faster as a group than McConnell is as a solo. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to make up that ground. So he's going to hope for them to be fighting up front because the cars behind, there's a group of 4, as you see them just coming around the corner, who will be trying to catch McConnell, and they'll have a pretty good shot at it.
Well, in fact, so Kramer has caught Degassius and he's now passed him. Up 10 spots for him as Nom now back ahead of Green. Marnie resumes his position in 3rd. Kabank is still in 4th. So, sit rep, the top 3 in Spec 2. You can see 2 of them here, Kramer and Payne, who are 6th and 8th overall. Harris, he's down in 12th, 3rd in class. No, sorry, it's Jimmy Littbacker, apologies, who is 3rd in class, 16th overall, but does have Tim Stainer, who started, remember, at the back of the grid. Now 6 spots overall into 17th. Could even make it 7 spots here because a lot of pressure being applied to the Swede.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Stano's done a good job. He's just basically started in the back and said, I'll just I'll pick up spots as people have incidents, and that's exactly what he's done. And so now he's challenging for, it's for the podium in Spec 2.
So Masters Barney leads. He's third overall. Apologies. Gassius 7th, second in class. Warbolt 9th, third in class. There goes Stano ahead of Litbacker, that last place on the podium. Harris has made his way past. What did you spot? There was a big gas then.
Well, what I spotted was Stano trying to brake for that corner with his left tires in the grass. he did a great job just to hold that car straight. He was just squirming, trying to get on the brakes there, and he almost lost it, but he did a really good job of catching the car. But it did keep him from making that move over Litbacker. So he's going to have to reset and try it again down here in the front straight.
So Gassius is now being cleared by Payne as well. So that's playing right into the advantages. And the foreground is shot. Meanwhile, Dano trying to keep ahead right now of Litbacker, who has got Pedro Carvalho really keeping the cat amongst the pigeons here. Trying to find a way through. You won't do that while these two are still side by side. And still, Stano holding that position, but he's going to be slow off the corner here compared to Litbacker. So I feel he's going to lose that position. But what does Pedro Carvalho do from here? Who does he hook up with? Who does he elect to go with? It's like NASCAR, isn't it? Does he go on the low line? Does he go on the high line?
Yeah, that's always the question, right? So obviously you see Litbacker deep into the corner on the inside, had kind of the inside run there, and was able to hang on to that spot. We'll get a replay here with Stevie Ray. Nice move. Yeah. Nice move over Brewster. Wow. And then too deep.
I thought that's a Lord praise onto him, where he got the move done already well ahead of the corner against Jim Brewster. But wow, a bit too much mustard on that entry, and well, that was it, gone.
Let's give him a little more praise. We'll make it that crap sandwich. It's the good stuff on the outside and the crap in the middle. Did a good job to not hit the wall there. It's so easy just once you get off in the grass, even with the changes to the off-track physics, that wall kind of just juts out on the exit of turn one, and it's really easy to just carry way too much speed through there and just smack it. So he did a good job to get the car caught up and recovered and was able to get back out on track.
South down a bit. For me, in this group, normally I'd be saying, keep an eye out for Jason Green. But it doesn't seem to be field saving tonight, Charles. So for me, out of them, the interesting party is Kabanka, who, despite this top three that have, shuffled around, it's been Green, it's been Nom, it's been Marnie at various stages. Kabanka's, he's been the constant in this equation. He's remained in fourth and just sat there. He's never attacked. He's never even looked mildly aggressive. He's never even moved his car across to maybe even ask a question or just try and put a bit of a thought inside whoever it is. But mainly it's been Marnie. Put it into his, plant that seed of doubt into his mind. He's just sat there chilling in fourth. Yeah, and I think maybe that's the one to watch out for, is to go on board with Marnie. And this looks like it's going to be Nom and Marnie sliding their way past Green.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, normally we would see Green be the one that's just content to hang back and ride around the back of this group, but this time it is Kabanka, and he is exactly what you say. He's just kind of riding around in fourth place and watching these guys battle in front of each other. And I think that they're doing enough battling that McConnell is still in that three and a half second range back to the leader, so he hasn't really lost any time because of the swapping that these guys are doing up front, but he hasn't really gained any time either. But he's done a really good job of just, marking his position, and, maybe there's some pit strategy involved that will help him out, later down the road.
So,
no.
Oh, right, more. So Carvalho and Harris were rallying away, weren't they? So, right, something's happened between those two. Or think we're about to find out exactly what happened now. So Carvelo is ahead of us. There is Harris. He's going to put it on the grass. Oh, they're just going to lose it by himself.
Yeah, just lost the rear end and just nowhere for Harris to go. And then we see Carvelo coming around, maybe a little touch off of...
wasn't it, ahead of them? Apologies, yes.
Yeah.
Stano or Love. I'm trying to think now. I think it would have been Stano, but yes. Right, okay, so that's what happened to those guys. As Knobs into the pits very early, Charles.
It is very early. So he's thinking the smart thing is going to be come into the pits now, get your fuel. You're going to come back out behind the group, probably all the way behind the entire pack. So it's going to be him by himself trying to chase down the back of the field. And then once he gets there, though, he can get that draft off those other cars. We see Stevie Ray into the pits also, which is what you would normally expect when pits are open. Stevie's going to take advantage of that as we see the battle here with Stano, Cathcart, and Litvacker.
That's a point you were making earlier on about McConnell. His times were, well, it was actually ever so slightly in pretty much all of the top four, only by a few hundredths. But also, the interesting one for me was Trenton Kramer, who did exactly the same lap time as McConnell as well. So, they're still to watch out for. So, despite, helping each other on, overtaking and trying to leapfrog one another, it's not really working. I wonder if Nom just realising that half an hour of what everyone else is doing behind him and thinking, right, okay, I could probably go quicker with nobody else around me. He's come out, look at that, all the way down in 90. You see the track map there. There is nobody around him for a country mile.
Yeah, everybody else is in a different area code at this point. So, yeah, it's going to be him just hot lapping until the next group of cars come into pits, and then we'll see how that all shakes out. But, yeah, it's going to be, all right, I'm just going to go out here and just run as hard as I can go until I meet some competition on the track, and then we'll see if we can draft up and make up a little more time.
So they're assessing around about 22.8, roughly, our top group. Last time around, yeah, there we go. Again, McConnell setting another 22.8 as well. He's so consistent, it's McConnell. There he is. Now up it's a 4th in class, but that's due to Nom making that very, very early pit stop. So, yeah, still quite a bit to work out. And, yeah, no, if anything, he is so close. Where he's making it up, Charles, he's losing time down, the front straightaway, the run between 3 and 5 as well. But then he's making it back everywhere else. And that's why they're not getting away like it feels like they should be.
Yeah, you would think so. But, yeah, you're right. He's done a really good job of just running his race, running his line, and maximizing his laps. And you're absolutely right. I've been watching it as well. His lap times are just extremely consistent, and it's just always in that that 22.8 range. The last lap actually was a 22.4, so he's actually even improved on what he was doing.
Well, in fact, it was his fastest lap of the race. However, he did have it deleted. He went 100 seconds quicker than his previous best, but so he had it deleted due to track limits. So, yeah, he's doing incredibly well right now. Incidentally, Jason Green just setting the fastest lap of the race at 22.26 from him. So, Cizo Green has got the slipstream, and well, McConnell's got nobody. Is Stevie Ray? There you go. As you can always say, Charles, you can officially say the pit window is now open.
Yep.
Stevie Ray's headed into the pit road.
Yep, and it feels like his second stop. Yeah, this is his second stop. So I'm not sure why that is, because I think I think he came in right after Nom on the same lap. So yeah, not sure what's going on with Stevie there. Why he had to come back into the pits, because I think he came out basically around nobody, kind of like Nom did. So very interesting.
So Jason Green leading our lead group of himself, Marnie. Banker still sat at the rear of this group, acting as rear gunner. But they are starting to pull out a little bit of time now from McConnell, who I think it's going to be inevitable realistically with nobody to draft with. But just as I sit here and watch it, Charles, just watch it, that gap just drop by about a tenth or two. So, yeah, it's definitely stronger through that loud bar, because there goes Marnie, the inside of green. Kabanka, the interesting one at this stage now. Does he elect to sit there? Yes, he does. Allows the gap to close up between himself and green. Remains steadfast in that line.
Yeah. So yeah, he's committed to that strategy. He's just said, all right, I'm just going to sit here. You guys go ahead. But I will say the last 3 laps, both Monty and Green, as they're making that move to take the lead, have all set purple laps. So fastest lap of the race the last 3 times by either Green or Monty.
Meanwhile, behind them, Kramer still leads Payne, but those two still ever so close, 4 tenths separating them in the battle for the victory of Spec 2. And on for a real big haul of points today for Kramer, because points are distributed wants to overall finishing positions rather than class finishing positions. So, be another real big day and another big step forward to Kramer taking that Spec 2 title, especially yet again with no Montgomery this week. Gassius and Warbolt, they're close as well for second and third in Masters. They do have Jacobson and Brewster just behind them. In fact, Jacobson has just got past. Well, very slow Warbolt there. I love Brewster through as well. Bit of a strange one, that.
It is a bit strange. Hey, we can give a shout out to Jeff Jacobson. Obviously, we talked about him not having the greatest qualifying ever, but he's up 11 positions during the race. So obviously his race pace is pretty good, and he's doing a really good job of working up the field.
Yeah, himself, Stano, and Kramer all up 11 spots. Ironically, Stano now to third in class. Expect to having started at the rear of the field. So Stano on an absolute flyer. Yes, helped by the Stevens, Murakami and race incident. Incidentally, timing so far, it's only Antonio Race who we lost on that opening lap. Big incident coming through. Well, the exit of the King, seen there, and Kettle Bottoms. So there it goes, Nom. Now, last time around, Charles, 22.21 from him.
Mm-hmm.
Our leader, Yugmani, 22.21.
Yeah. So he's running the leader's pace, but he's not running any faster than them. So he's not making up ground by his undercut attempt. So as we see now, just Jim Brewster now with obviously a very good run, just at the fastest lap of the race from P9. So yeah, he's running the same pace as the guys up front, but he's not really running faster than them, so he's not making up ground. And so not sure that this is going to work. What just depends now is depends on the pit stop times. So I think that Christian Kabanka may be in the catbird seat.
Bit dig from Jacobson there. Here comes Brewster. Can he make it a bit of a 2-for-1 deal here? Getting himself up into 7th. Well, pretty much cement it. Jacobson holds it right round the outside, desperately clinging hold of that place right now. And then slots back in. They all zip in together with one another, but it's going to be Brewster. He's the interesting one. He's with the better line out the corner. But Jacobson just shuts him down, cuts him off, kills off that momentum. Hold on to 7th, but I wonder for how much longer, as he's looking like he's feeling the pressure a little bit here. The hands of Brewster and Gassius, because, well, Brewster and Gassius locked in a battle themselves for 2nd place in Masters, and in this group of 7th, 8th and 9th overall too. And you say with Brewster saying last time around that fastest lap of the race, and then again went purple in Sector 1 as well. I think he's struggling with momentum, and the one to watch out for on this group of 3 right now.
Yeah, can't really argue with that. So yeah, it's just kind of thinking about it. Still thinking that Kabanka is in a good spot, but yeah, Jim Brewster. Oh, as we see a spin, calf cart.
I was going to say there was another car with them. Yeah, I thought there was another car with them. Calf cart. Oh, hello. Brewster and Jakeson now come to blows. Kramer and Payne and Degassis have all popped into pit road. It's all kicking off here.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's just like wrecks happening everywhere. You start getting replays here from Samuli. You get Cathcart.
It's like the clock ticks over to 24 minutes exactly, and it's like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, just Cathcart braking, and then somebody not catching that and just getting in the back of him. I'm guessing that was Litbacka?
Yes,
yeah.
Was, so, yeah. And this is what happened to Jakeson.
Yeah, just too much. I think it kind of looked like his lefts were in the grass or gravel on the outside, and so when he went in for that corner, it just was unsettled enough that was unable to have the same amount of grip that he had the previous couple of times he went through there, and just lost the rear of the car. And as we see, is just when you're that close in the draft, there's nowhere for you to go, and there's going to be contact made.
You know what that's going on, Charles? Just gets fastest lap of the race.
Arrow
Yeah, I give you a clue, Samuli on fire as always.
Yeah.
Straight to him, telepathically knows what we're going to mention, and there you go.
Yeah, so he picked up, that was a tenth and change quicker than the previous fast lap. So yeah, he picked up a couple of tenths that time. So he's definitely on it now, and now he's got cars in front of him. So now this might be where he really starts to make up time as he gets to this traffic and can draft off these cars. As we saw, was that Payne in front of him? Yeah, it was Litbacka in front of him. Yep. So
yes, no, this depends a lot where he catches them. It's here we go. Green, Marnie, and Kabanka responding. 26 minutes complete. McConnell comes in as well. Well, here we go. We find out whether our hypothesis that Kabanka has been fuel saving all race long. Marnie having a bit of a blink there. Right. Calculators at the ready, Charles. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get stopwatches, and we'll see where everybody comes out. We know green is usually one of the ones that is the shortest time stopped. I guess this feeling though it might be Kabanka this time.
18.47 was the time from Nom. So they need to be stopped less than that. It's total transition time through the pits of 59.3. They're getting close to that now. Here comes Nom. He's making his way up. He's crossing the start-finish line. There goes green. And well, it's a 16.9s from Marnie and Kabanka. Green out. Here comes Nom flying through with the momentum and slots into second place. Wow, that's devastating for green. 17.3 from green, so a slower stop that came out of pit road first, having a shorter overall transition time. But the good thing for him is, after all of that hard work, Nom plugs the gap between himself and Marnie Kabanka, so that big gap he opened up is now fully eradicated.
Yep. So yeah, he had Nom not been there, he might have had a chance to kind of get away. Obviously, with Monty and Kabanka together, felt like they were going to catch him anyway. But now it's just another four. It's going to be a 4-car battle till the end of the race, with the 4 that were leading before the pit cycle. And so we'll see. Once again, it might be who's in second place going into the last straightaway. So we'll kind of just have to watch and see how the jockeying for position is going to go from now till the end.
So Stevens is back up to 3rd in Class 8 for overall. However, he stopped on lap 1, so some complete miracle. He is going to have to stop again, but so potentially stop him disrupting this battle for the lead between Payne, who's lost a little bit of time to Kramer in the pit cycle. He's now 3 seconds behind him, whereas it's about half a second gap between the pair of them beforehand. McConnell, well, he's lost even more time to that lead group. But
yeah,
I'm really shocked by Banker. Not a massive amount of fuel saving. His knobs ahead of green.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that Kabanka was not, significantly quicker on the pit stop. And yeah, I feel bad for McConnell because now even with these guys battling up front, they could be going 4 wide through corners, and it's going to be very difficult to pick up 7 seconds from now to the end of the race.
Not long to find out. We've got about 11 minutes left as Marnie looking at the inside. This is surely going to be the move that gets him into second place ahead of green. In some ways, it's all immaterial, really, because it's the Predator just winding down the clock now, waiting for that final lap. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, wheel-to-wheel contact. The greens dropped down to 4th. Just having to catch the car, but he did a good job. Doesn't look like anybody's damaged, so it's a little quick shuffle of the order, and then we're back to 1 through 3, 4 in a straight line, and we'll get the runs going again, and we'll see who makes moves into the corners.
We'll do indeed. We will do indeed, and carrying on, the first driver to make it into the 221s with a 221.98 from him last time around. He is not hanging around whatsoever.
It kind of feels like, it kind of feels like we're going to get purple laps out of this front group every lap from now to the end of the race as the fuel burns off, and these guys just keeps getting more and more runs, and the speeds pick up from all 4 of the cars. So we may see, like I said, it may be a best lap of the race every lap as we come through until the end.
See if your prediction is true. I mean, luckily, just a long lap around here, 4 miles in length at Road America. There's not too many laps in which they won't do it potentially. The numbers game, it's on your side, really, isn't it? It's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that was an obvious. Maybe that was Captain Obvious moment there for today's race. As we're looking at Trenton Kramer, who has managed to pull out a nice gap. So he's kind of in a bubble all of his own as well, with a 3.5 second gap over Payne.
I think that did quite a bit of the damage to that one, Charles, around the pit stops, didn't he? Yes, he was about 7/10 faster. In terms of his actual stop time, and 1.5 seconds faster in his total transition down the pit lane.
Yeah, yep, there we go. Another fastest lap of the race. Kabanka this time as he takes the lead.
First time this evening.
Yeah, first time. He said, "Okay, I guess it's time to start racing." As we see Paul Stevens coming into the pits. This is his. Looks like maybe his second stop.
That's right. He stopped back on lap 1, Charles.
Yep.
I spotted a little bit earlier. And I was like, oh, hello. He's managed to make his way back up there.
Yeah, because he had
Sorry,
he was involved in something, wasn't he? The very first of the race. Yep.
Yeah, I think he got caught up in the whole. Yeah, he got caught up in the race and Murakami conundrum. Just talking about conundrum, this front 4, throw a blanket over them and you will cover them right now. So yes, he is having to stop again, but I believe no, that's going to promote Stano up into 3rd in class. It seems like quite a long stop from Stevens as well, and he's heading out now. Actually a short stop, apologies about that. It feels like a long time at times. And so yes, he's going to come out 5th in class behind Littbacker and actually somewhat 3 seconds behind him on the road.
Yeah, it just feels like a long time because it's a long pit lane, right? So, it's one of the longest pit lanes that we have to, that's in it, or it feels like that anyway, that's in iRacing because it seems like it's uphill. And so it just feels like because of that long straightaway that pit lane is for seemingly forever. So it is one of the longer ones that we're used to because, Road America is one of the, I guess, hubs for SCCA. So they usually have many pit stalls available for these races because there's always You know, it's kind of like our spec racer race where it's always like there's 50 cars on the track at any given time.
Mark Cabanca is showing his hand a little bit. I mean, just how much pace has he got in reserve? Was he just chilling back there, or was he even not chilling at all? Having sat for fourth for a large majority of this race, as something's happened to Ray off camera. He's had a bit of an incident, it looks like, but see what happens down into turn one. Surely going to be knobbed through, but will Marnie following through? And interestingly, it's now Green sat at the back of this field, but you're fourth. I mean, it seems like you can make up one place, can't you, down each of the straights?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, being in fourth, you'd have to pick off one down the start from the straight, one down the race down to 5, and then pick off the final one into Canada corner, and then hope you can hold on that run out of the final corner to the line on obviously the last lap. But I mean, is that leaving it too late? Is that risky? Is actually someone like Marnie who's sitting in third in more of the power play position here?
Yeah, I don't know, because if, you know, say for instance, we were talking about, you know, Cabanca being in fourth, or, you know, these four being in fourth, you can pass down a straightaway, but then that car is going to get a run. And so you might want to think that you can pass the car in front, but you've also got to be a little defensive with the car getting that run behind you. So it may be one of those that you might want to be in second place coming out of the final corner and trying to get the run down the front straight, which I don't know that it doesn't look like it's worked, at least, you know, from the run out of the corner to the start finish line. I don't think we've seen any passes there. I think it's been much later down in the straightaway going down into turn 1 is where we've seen the passes being completed. But maybe it's enough to be able to get side by side.
Luckily, we haven't got too long to find out, have we, in terms of laps? So I think we're across the line. I
think it's going to be 2 to go. 2 to go when we get to the line? Yeah.
I think so. So Pedro Pavlo's misery continues. Edwin Hinton off camera. Down in 17th place. It's been a bit of a topsy-turvy race today. We've gained big or lost big. We've been brought in a great battle like we're seeing up front for the victory here today. Kramer looking comfortable for victory in Spec 2. Marnie likewise for Masters. Could have a podium overall. You see Cabanca pulled very, very early to the right-hand side of the track there. That's a little bit different.
It is a little bit different. Yeah, as you can see, we were kind of riding with Monty there. He can get a run, but he just can't quite get even with the car in front until we get down here. And then it's, you know, even then you're going to have to be really late on the brakes as we see these cars. And now Monty with a nice crossover to get to the outside here. Just not enough, so he's going to try and work back to the inside. Wow, this is really, really interesting.
Having to lift out the throttle, we got boxed in a little bit there from Green.
Yeah, Green wasn't really giving him a lot of room. So he's like, you know what, I don't think I want to push it just yet. I think we got one more of these, and we'll wait for the last lap before we do something completely crazy, as we see them all coming down too wide, 2 by 2 into the corner, into turn 5. Monty does get a little bit get ahead this time, and has got Aero Nom right in front of him, so that's as far as he's going to get for that particular corner. I think that there's people doing just running some different lines and just seeing what's working and what's not. Maybe putting something in the mind of somebody in front of them for the next lap. Maybe setting something up.
Yes, it's the perennial game of high-speed poker, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You've got, you know, people want to show a bit of their hand, but not too much, you know. Have you got a pair of aces? Have you got something like, I don't know, a 2 and a 7? Different suits. Whatever you've got, you don't want your opponent to know what you have got as you go to try and get as much out of them as possible and force them into a mistake. As they come across the line, Charles, I think it is going to be 1 to go. I think we're going to see white flag. We'll have to keep out for it. It's going to be very, very close, but I think it will be here from Road America. So keep an eye out for Barney. They crest the hill. What's going to be for the penultimate time. Next time we're doing this, they'll be taking the checkered flag. 1 to go here from Road America in the Weekend Warriors Formula Fords, presented by Ray Esports. And who is going to take it? I mean, the way these two are front, Kabanka and Nom, they've been playing a bit of a roadblock. I feel like it's going to be one of these two. And I think Marnie and Nom, Green, could just be helpless in this situation.
Yeah, the track will only support so many cars across. So it's going to be very difficult if the front two go too wide. There's really not going to be anywhere for you to go from if you're behind them. We'll see Monty looking to the inside. Oh, look at that move! 3 wide down the straightaway.
Green just holding back a little bit, doesn't want to be part of it. As York Marnie could possibly here slingshot himself from 3rd to 1st. In one corner, he's trying to pin Nom to the outside there. He's trying to carry the momentum around, and he's going to hold on for 1st, but for how much longer? Because he's in the lead of this train, and now it comes down to a defending masterclass from Aero Nom. If he wants to take this victory, or we're going to see something else here from... Ooh. Oh, bit of contact, but they get away with it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think Nom's running a little bit different line coming out of the kink. Most of the cars were basically coming across the track. He was basically just holding it steady, and that's how he got the run the last time. So we'll see if Monty can get this run going here and make a move going down into Canada.
Here we go, Charles. Here we go. We've still got the run to the line, and they're going to try and make it free. What Kabanka thinks about it here. As Jason Green backs out, not quite as much this time. They're going to get squeezed, and Nom could lose out big time. As Kabanka takes the lead in spectacular fashion. He got it done, but Yugmani couldn't do it. Lap corner 5, but now Green trying to inflict more misery onto Nom as he tries to take 3rd place away from him. Still good from a podium in class, but out the final corner for the final time. Kabanka goes hard up against the wall on the inside. They snake back across him. We're going to see this run to the line as they crest the hill. Has Marnie got enough time to pull alongside? Yes, he has. And who's going to get in the line? And it's Kabanka by 11 thousandths of a second.
What a finish. Jeez, that was so close. Green and Nom dead heat to the 1000th.
I hadn't even spotted that one. So that's come down. We'll wait for some official results to come in, but that's come down to the, what, tens of thousandths of a second? No, yeah. 10 thousandths of a second. We've had some close finishes, but we've never had them as a dead heat like that. Not to go that deep onto it. Meanwhile, Brewster and Stano are raced to the line, but Brewster's going to win out that one to finish 11th overall. Stano from the back of the grid finishes well, nearly an 11th. I mean, it's going to feel almost disappointed to fill 12th, be up 11 spots, doesn't it? And take a pace on the podium in your class as well. Second in class, in fact, due to that late stop from David Payne.
Wow, what a finish. We're going to get a replay here. So Monty moves to the left. Had a good run, and then we get what the nose of the car. I mean, it literally might have been a foot.
I don't know. I'm gonna wait as Brewster stopped on track. Cathcart giving me last car across the line. I'm gonna try and dive into some race results here. So, according to iRacing, Charles, Marnie lost victory by 6 thousandths of a second, and Green beat Nom by, according to iRacing, 2 thousandths of a second in the end.
Jeez, that's incredibly tight, and it was, the first pair and the second pair were separated by a half second. I mean, yes. it was that close.
Yes. exactly half a second, Charles. They were separated, our top 4 here today from Road America. Wow. With everyone across the line, should we get some Class 5 results in? Here we go. Kabanka, your winner. Had to leave it late, but he got the job done. That run down to Canada Corner, securing him a victory, coming from 3rd to 1st and holding on the line by a meager 6 thousandths of a second over Marnie, who incidentally takes victory in Masters. That now is, how many wins in a row that for Marnie? That's 5 in a row, and his 4th overall podium in a row as well. Equally his best result of the season overall, going back to Watkins in round 1. Jason Green 3rd. He beat Aaron on by even a finer margin of 2 thousandths of a second. Also, those two rounding out that Spec 1 podium. McConnell, valiant efforts, but everything was going on around him. A very quiet race, finishes 5th in no man's land. Trent Kramer, your winner in Spec 2, and an incredible 6 overall, and up 10 spots. Making hay with the sunshine here at Road America for the American in the 444. The Gassis and Warbot are going to complete your Masters podium. Well, the first time we've had all those 3 on the podium this season together. Jigson and Harris running out your top 10. Staino 2nd in Spec 2 and 11th overall. He was up 11 spots. Jigson previously up 10 as well. Need to give that a fair mention. Dana Bose 12th. Cantor Payne rounding out that Spec 2 podium in 14th. Was Love Carvalho, Stevens, Litbacker, Rooster Murakami, Cathcart, Rehu, Stevie Raffing retired the car back on lap 13, and Tony Race we lost on the opening lap. Let's have a chat to some of our drivers. First up, Christian Kabanka. Wow, what a final lap, my friend. I mean, you sat 3rd, and it seemed like, the way that Marnie and, whoever's in 1st and 2nd seemed to be creating a bit of a roadblock. But were you a bit concerned, or was it just like a Hail Mary attempt, all or nothing, to try and take the victory, and that was it?
It was a Hail Mary attempt. I didn't even think I would have made the corner there when we were 3 wide at the end of the lap, but somehow we did, and I'm very, very happy about that. But honestly, if I were to try to attempt the move again, I probably would have spun out or missed the corner. So it was just a miracle that I made it.
It was. I mean, first half of the race, it seemed like you just sat in 4th, and it seemed like you were just chilling and playing the fuel saving strategy. We were a little bit surprised that you had as long a stop what you did in comparison to your competitors around you. Were you fuel saving, or were you just trying to keep yourself alive and wind down the clock?
A bit of both, but my fuel strategy has not been my strong suit. I've lost races due to fuel strategy, so I've been a bit more conservative in terms of how much fuel I put into the car. But as long as I was in the pack and I could keep up in the draft, that means that I knew I had a chance to win.
Well, and you did. It was by a very slender margin, a 6 thousandths of a second. Congratulations, Christian Kabanka. You win it here today from Road America. Charles, the usual.
The usual.
Standard situations. You win it in Masters.
Is my normal weekly chat with York. Hey, York, how are you?
I'm doing fine, Charles. And you?
Oh, I'm doing great. So let's throw some numbers at you because I'm a numbers guy. So the gap from P1 to P2, 6 thousandths of a second.
Literally, I won.
The gap from P3 to P4, 2 thousandths of a second. And the gap from P1 to P4 was just a measly half second. What a fantastic battle. So talk about it, that last lap from your end.
That one was actually insane, but I was really excited because I was in the middle of everything, even after my pit stop. That was surprisingly. But I had so much fun in the last lap and really tried not to get, when I saw somebody coming at the inside, I tried to move a little bit to the left, but Jason was on the other side or somebody else. And it was really, really exciting. And I was just a tiny bit too late on the last corner, and that made those 6,000 up. So, but still, literally I won because I'm much older than Christian. And yeah.
There you go. That's right. We'll give you that. We'll give you that. Hey, congratulations, Jorg. Another fantastic race. And then, so what are we expecting for the next one for Spec Race? Are we expecting 50 cars doing the same thing?
I think so. It's going to be a draw track like hell. I don't know if it works in my case because I'm going to grab myself a whiskey now after that last race. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen.
All right. We'll see you in just a little while. Thank you, Jorg.
You're welcome. Good night, guys. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Let's squeeze in quickly. Trenton Kramer, an incredible 10 spots, second row on the bounce. I mean, a lot of it defined by that big incident, coming out of the kink on lap 1. You either back out of it or you gamble and keep your foot flat to the floor, and it seemed like you did the latter and it paid off for you.
Yeah, I got really lucky without clipping onto anybody after exiting that section. The car was really loose with the first lap cold tires, and saw a window, had to take it or risk getting rear-ended, so just stuffed it to the floor and held it there.
I mean, was that just a quick gamble and observation, or just pure luck and blind faith from yourself?
I would like to say that it was all skill and not luck, but I gotta give some luck to or some of the credit to luck. Like I said, luckily the window opened, and I just happened to be committed at the same point in time that I needed to be. And like I said, just thankful that iRacing's clipping physics didn't accidentally wrap me up with another car.
And from that point onwards, you had David Payne, with yourself, about half a second between the pair of you for the vast majority of the race. He took a late pit stop, which sort of ended that one. I mean, were you sort of worried with David behind you for such so close for such a long period, or were you feeling relatively confident of still taking the victory even though he was behind you?
I was worried at the start because, like I mentioned before, I just cannot qualify, and I need to work on that for next season if I switch over to S1. But with his qualifying pace, he definitely had the track speed that he needed. But once we got into the race, it just seemed like I had a little bit more pace out of every corner and going into every corner. So it turned into, I know that he's behind me fuel saving right now. Let's see if he's willing to risk it and pit with me. And I made him pit. And when we came out of the pits, I took a lot less fuel, and that gave me a 2.5 second gap. And from there on, I was just scot-free.
Well, congratulations. Second win on the bounce. And good luck for later on in the SRFs.
Thank you.
Well, that is all we've got time for this part of the show. Coming up in around about 15 minutes' time here on Super Sunday on Apex Racing TV. We're back at Road America as part of this doubleheader for the SRFs. From South, Tim Cox, Charles Michelle, and Smooly Kumo, thank you very much for joining us. And we will see you, if you only join us for the Formula Fords in a week's time, we head to another street circuit in America. It is Long Beach. Thanks very much for joining us. See you then.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.